OK, so for this, I'm going to ask Aisling. Please channel Carol Vorderman for me, if you wouldn't mind. So here's a pen. So you've got to hold it up so that everybody can see.
Yes.
So maybe Alan can help you with that.
Well, I think I'm all right.
No, I mean, hold it up so that the audience can see what you're writing.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes. Thank God I got this big, strong man with me to carry me board.
There's a gentleman wearing a T-shirt that says love is something. Any random number, please? Just a single-digit number? It wasn't a difficult question. Not that many of them. 8. Write that down, please.
OK.
Just to warn you, you're going to write a 3-digit number, and there's going to be quite a lot of numbers.
So 8.
Oh, dear God. Could you just start again? OK.
That was just me having a gentle laugh with you, Sandy.
I love it. There is, let's go right up the back, the first row at the very back, the blue shirt at the end. 2, number 2.
OK, 2.
OK, there we go.
Squeaking.
Shut up, Debbie McGee.
Let's go over here, lady with a patterned top. 7. 8 to 7. OK. So what I want you to do now is reverse the digits underneath.
Oh, yes. Oh. But that's always going to be 2 in the middle.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. Keep going.
Put it upside down.
It's not really complicated, what I'm asking you to do.
Yes.
Could you now subtract the smaller number from the larger?
Right, yeah. OK, so we're going to do this now. So we take 8 from 7, just not possible. I think we all know that. Yes, so we're going to do...
Wow.
I mean, I'm in the arts, you see.
Yeah.
So... it's just
9.
What? Stop saying no at me in German and tell me what the answer is. 9.
Yeah, and then it's going to be 9 again.
Comes down here, so there's 3 from 9. God.
Right. So I need to have 3 numbers, so put a 0 now, please. So we have 3 numbers, OK. Now reverse those digits, please. 0.
Always 9.
9, and please could you add them together?
So 18.
No. So 9 and 0. Start again. 9 and 0 is 9. 9 and 9 is 8. Carry 1. So the answer is... OK, so we've come to 1089. OK, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Wow, that was painful. Really painful. So, what was the number that we had? We had 1089. So, Noel, I'm going to pass you a copy of 1,342 QI facts to leave you flabbergasted. No.
Yes.
Could you, let's see, 1089, take the 10th word on page 89 and tell me what it is.
Yeah.
What is it?
French.
French. Here's the envelope that I did earlier, and there is the word French.
No!
So, moving on. Get this right and you can have your weight in points.
Ooh.
I'd like you to add these numbers up. Look at the screen, add up the numbers.
Hang on. Pen.
Oh.
So 999.
No.
431.
No. I'll let you have, which the winner of this competition did not have, the opportunity to see it again. All right, again, 2-second burst. Add that up.
I was about 897.
No. I mean, it would be astonishing if you got it, but in Japan, where else, they have this, it's called Flashanzan. And actually, the world record holder had a shorter time than that. You have to correctly add 15 3-digit numbers, and he did it in 1.7 seconds. Now, there's a particular reason Japanese people are very good at this.
I think I know the reason. It's in Malcolm Gladwell's book. It's because of how they process, how the language processes numbers. There is a strange thing in Chinese and Japanese, in both languages, with the number, if you say the numbers together, it automatically adds them up, sort of linguistically.
Yes, but there's a really interesting addition to that, which is that what they're doing, and their fingers are the giveaway, they do this. What do you think that is?
That is a living one of those.
Savant.
Oh, it's a herd of those.
The answer, incidentally, was 1,966. But the secret actually is in the Chinese-Japanese abacus. They're actually doing the action of the abacus. And the more amazing thing, perhaps, is that at the same time, they can have a conversation with someone. Because it's another part of the brain that's being engaged. And they'll say the answer, but they won't remember a single one of the numbers they added up.
Thank you for watching.
Limerick composed by someone, which I invite you to recite to me.
Oh.
See if you can.
Huh?
Yes, that's a shock, isn't it?
Yes.
And you can do it.
Wait, can you?
Yep.
Yes, you can. It is a limerick.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
You have to ask yourself what these numbers are. In fact, they have some other...
dozen and 12 dozen.
Yeah, 12, but 144 is also called a...
Gross.
So, a dozen, a gross, a score, plus 3 times the square root of 4, divided by 7. You're all right, so you're doing well. Plus 5. Whoa. Calm down. Do I have to slap you? You're right.
The episode of QI where Stephen just slapped me.
So say it again as a limerick. You can do it now.
Yes, yes.
Go on.
Go on then, Susan.
A dozen...
A dozen.
A dozen of gross.
A dozen, a gross and a score, plus 3 times the square root of 4, divided by 7, plus 5 times 11,
Equals 9 squared, plus not a bit more.
There you are. Well done. There was a guy called Lee Mercer who came up with that. This is rather good. 12 plus 1 equals 11 plus 2?
It does.
Yeah, but in what other ways does 12 plus 1 equals 11 plus 2?
Oh, is it an anagram then?
They're anagrams of each other. 12 plus 1, written out, is an anagram of 11 plus 2.
Wow, you really have had too much time on your hands.
These were worked
Yes,
out by
it is.
Nelson Mandela on Robben Island.
I think they're rather fabulous.
They are,
so
right.
there.
They're marvellous.
What's the maximum number of knights you can have on a chessboard, such that none of them can take another one?
Oh, multiples of 8, I suppose.
I'll give you... You can try it out.
So that none...
Maximum number. What you have to do is understand what a knight's move is.
Stephen, I don't understand the question.
It's the maximum... it's the maximum number of knights you would have on a chessboard, such that none can take the other. Have you noticed something in common with the ones you're putting down?
They're all the same.
Same. OK, the same colour, so...
Yes, because a knight move must take a different colour.
So 32?
32 is the right answer! It's really very simple when you think about it, isn't it? It's one of those things that sounds incredibly complicated that you have to work out for ages, but there you are.
I still don't understand it at
Well,
all.
none of these knights can take another knight.
But isn't that rather more knights than we're used to?
Yes. It's a problem. It's not a real chess situation. It's if you
Because they
had...
move, because the way they move, which is diagonal and up one, they move to the alternate colour.
Yes.
So if you've got all the knights in the same colour, they cannot take...
Exactly right.
Oh,
That's how... In the centre of the board, you're controlling 8 different squares there, but they're all a different colour, the knight's on a black square. So all you have to do is put them all on a black square or all on a white
When
square.
you move your knight, do you make a little horsey noise?
That's so sweet.
And when you move your rook...
The bishop.
When you do your queen... Hello. That's your bishop. You're going to get in such trouble. You're going to get in trouble from both sides.
Oh, you are awful.
Yes. You're getting in trouble from both sides there,
Just say,
Richard.
if the Bishop of Peterborough is watching this evening, you'll have my resignation on your desk. Isn't there a version of chess for kind of chess heads called fairy chess, where the pieces do more things?
Oh,
fairy chess. I'm not making this up. I'm sure this is true.
Chess.
That there's a versions of chess where you can call these fairy pieces, and they can do extra things.
How many drugs did you take when you were hanging with chess? So you could just go, you're playing chess, and suddenly you go, no, we're playing fairy chess now.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to touch the pieces.
The whole point of chess is its limitations.
Yes,
It's all
precisely.
about the strictness of which
some
you
You know,
operate.
but hang on, Mrs. Poker player Victoria Coren Mitchell. Aren't there versions of poker where they kind of introduce wild cards and
Yes.
stuff to kind of get it? It's the same sort of thing.
You know, poker's different. As Martin Amis once said, in chess, the properties of a bishop are fixed. In poker, it's all wobbled through the prism of personality.
Well, you have obviously
A beautiful quote. Beautiful quote. But do you know when he said that, Stephen? It was after a poker game that you and I and he all
I remember
played
in Wales.
many
With the
years
then
ago.
unknown Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais, who was knocked out, got up, said, "What am I supposed to do now?" And you said, "There's a shotgun in the drawer."
What's the loneliest number?
3, 4, 5.
Yes.
1.
No. It's the obvious one, but it's not that one.
So maybe 2 is the loneliest number because it's next to the one that gets talked about the most.
And do you know what? I would make that entirely a correct answer if it wasn't so horribly wrong. No.
3 is the magic number.
3 is the magic number. No, well, I don't know, I've never tried, but so they say.
See, I was going to say 2 as well, but because I just thought it depends on what your marriage is like.
Yeah.
Is it 13? Because it's quite unlucky, so the other numbers don't want to go near it.
OK, so it is an unpopular number.
0.
No, it's quite a high number. So there's a mathematician
100.
called... Yeah, you're heading in the right direction.
14.
200.
No, we're not going to play this higher, lower.
101.
79.
110.
Yes!
110?
It's 110!
110.
Alan gets the point. So there's a mathematician called Alex Bellos, and he wanted to find the world's favourite number. So he asked a lot of people, and 30,023 people responded, and the lowest whole number that nobody chose was 110. It was everybody's least favourite number. So QI has adopted it as our favourite number.
Very lukewarm round of applause. You prefer number 7, don't you?
Well, why might you prefer number 7? That's a really interesting thing.
Is it the lucky number?
It's the world's favourite number.
Ah.
That is the one that Alex Bellos discovered most people prefer. And in fact, there was a national lottery draw which rather bore this out. The 23rd of March 2016, 5 of the 6 numbers were multiples of 7, OK? So there was 7, 14, 21, 35 and 42, and the other one was 41. And so many people chose them, you got more money for matching 4 numbers than you did for matching 5. So 4 numbers, you got £51, and 5 right, you got £15.
A dubious theory about Alice in Wonderland for you, if you're quite interested.
A dubious theory from Stephen Fry.
Yes. Alice in Wonderland isn't a wildly imaginative children's fantasy after all. It's a bitter, satirical attack on Victorian mathematics. Dubious or not, visit aliceschmalice.co.uk to review the evidence and decide for yourself.
A dubious theory from Stephen Fry.
I like that one. I like that one a lot.
It's an interesting theory, and there's a book written about it. The fact is, as you know, Alice in Wonderland was written by...
Lewis Carroll.
Who was, in real life...
A dog.
Charles Dodge.
A dog? It's so right, the last letter was wrong.
It was a don.
A don.
A don.
Yeah.
A don.
Don, that's what he meant. In other words, he was a fellow of an...
Autocorrect, autocorrect, damn you, autocorrect.
He was a mathematician at Oxford.
Yeah.
And he was a very conservative, classical mathematician who believed in Euclidean geometry and things like that. And there was a new world coming into maths that would resolve in David Hilbert's famous questions and the Poincaré conjecture and Riemann's hypothesis and all the things that Alan Turing and later mathematicians
The invention of
devoted
number
themselves.
9, of course.
The invention
very,
of number...
very controversial. I've never taken to it myself.
Squeezed it in between 7 and 10 and 8 and 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 came even later.
8 came later.
They needed it for the war.
Blind spot.
Yeah.
So weird. They needed it for bingo, I think. No, but the fact is, he didn't like the way that maths was becoming so extraordinarily abstract and pure and less to do with either symbolic logic, which was his particular subject, or, as I say, the beauty of plain geometry, which he loved. And so this particular author, Melanie Bailey, argues that the scenes, particularly the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, the encounter with the hooker smoking caterpillar, and the meeting with the Duchess whose baby turns into a pig, all that sort of absolute nonsense, he thought typified modern mathematics. And most of all, he added in the later story, The Cheshire Cat, who disappears leaving only a grin. It's a humorous way of making a serious point about the futility of abstraction. How can a cat leave a grin behind? The cat was brilliantly played in the Tim Burton film by who did the voice of the cat? It was superb. Oh, God.
Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie, that's it. That's it. I knew it was someone good. Minus 2,000 points. Anyway, Melanie Bailey, the author of this book, reminds us that his other works are painfully dull and moralistic or very technical works. In fact, Queen Victoria read Alice and loved it so much and said, I do hope, Dr. Dodgson, that you will dedicate your next book to me. So he wrote a book called something like Problems in Symbolic Logic. to her Majesty Queen Victoria. You must have read it and thought, what the fuck is this?
Queen Victoria bumper book of boring math. Happy Christmas, Your
Anyway,
Majesty.
she says, this lady, Melanie Bailey, that Dodgson was most witty when he was poking fun at something, and only then when the subject matter truly got him riled. Whereas we think of him as just an absurdist, a kind of surrealist, as a nonsense, a master of nonsense. Anyway, it's nice to have dubious theories on our J series, and that's one of them. So, how do you get an ant to keep still? Sarah.
Stop the music.
Play that. That's very good. Do you know, by any chance, who was the first person accurately to portray small insects? Most famously, the flea, which is a very recognisable image, which is the cover of his book, Micrographia. He was a remarkable scientist, town planner. He has a law named after him of tension and springs. He was a contemporary of Newton and Christopher Wren. He was responsible for much of the town planning after the fire of London. And he used a microscope to see animals, including this little flea, and an ant, and there it is, which he was an amazing artist, as you can see. And he describes precisely how he got the ant to keep still. He said, I gave it a gill of brandy, which after a while knocked him down dead drunk. He struggled, wonderful phrase this, for a pretty while very much.
Sounds like he was drinking
for a pretty while very much.
One for you, one for me.
Till at last, certain bubbles issuing out of its mouth, it ceased to move and remained moveless for a good while.
Remained moveless?
Moveless, yeah. Well, it was in 1665 the book came out, Micrographia. A gill, by the way, is a quarter of a pint.
Wow. They can hold their booze, can't they, ants?
Yeah.
8 times their body weight.
But what was this man's name? Remember? Audience?
Remember.
Robert Hooke. Well, yeah, Ian Robertson shouted that. Ian Robinson is a physicist. That's cheating. But yes, Robert Hooke. And he suffered, as many did, although he was one of the greatest geniuses who ever lived. Isaac Newton was a really thoroughly ghastly man. And he particularly hated Hooke and had him erased from history, because anybody who wasn't Newton was just not good enough. And all the portraits of him we got rid of, because he was so powerful, Newton, because he was such a genius and so recognised around the world. And an artist named Rita Greer has set herself the task of creating more portraits of Hooke than there are of Newton to redress the balance. And here's one. It's based on meticulously researched likenesses of him. There are now 20 in the world, as opposed to 16 of Newton. So Hooke has won, although obviously Newton was a truly great man.
He was a bit of a wrong un.
I'm afraid he was.
A terrible egomaniac.
Total egomaniac.
Gravity. I mean, goes to your head.
Yeah.
He looks like he's had a few gills of whiskey there.
He does, doesn't he? He's a little it doesn't look as if he's had much sun.
Look, it's 2 little ants missing in a pub. Hello, Mr. I'm Brady. I love you. No, I love you.
Thanks for watching.